Coach John Bednarowski with the Marietta Daily Journal.
How you doing, John?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kennesaw State Football made the jump to Conference USA, just finished the first year. Not a whole lot of NIL funds, and, the facilities haven't changed here since the football program was founded in 2013. Okay. So what assurances from the administration have you been given as far as an NIL budget and a target date as to when those facilities are going to start being constructed?
So I'll first say, one of the things that attracted me to the job was the alignment. I kind of mentioned in my press conference, just from the president, from the athletic director, those people, when they talked to me about the opportunities for growth, I think that was the biggest thing here at Kennesaw State. When they laid out their vision, really no specific timetable on, when ground is going to be broken on certain things, but I can tell you there is a vision to do some things from a facility standpoint. Obviously, the nature of NIL right now, everybody's kind of still navigating what that kind of looks like from their own institution. I think the resources are in place, here with the donors and with the collective and things like that. I think it's opportunity to continue to grow it. So obviously you want to continue to grow it. Student funds, athletic fees, things like that are always going to be part of those conversations as far as the athletic budget. But I do think, when you're talking about 50,000 students plus or whatnot, there's just no limitations on what we can potentially do. And that's one of the things that really attracted me to the whole opportunity. I do think there are some things that are in place that haven't been unveiled yet. But rest assured, it's coming.
I know it's going to be busy a few days for you, not only with signing day, but how are you doing as far as recruiting your own locker room right now? I know that there was a lot of players that had gone into the portal. Have you met with the team, and how is that going? Yeah,
I met with the team. It was the first thing I did when I got on campus last night. So we had about a 9 p.m. just all football staff meeting, met with the staff a little bit, got a chance to meet with players, meet some of the players as well, just kind of outline what I feel like this program and what we need to do going forward. So just have their mind in a different place when they come back after the Christmas break. So, to answer your question, yeah, I've got an opportunity to meet with them. Got an opportunity to watch some film as well. Got a chance to kind of sit down and watch a couple of games and kind of see what some of the deficiencies are with the program and positions of need more than anything else.
Well, since you brought it up, what are those deficiencies and positions of need?
Well, when you have a season like we did, it's everywhere. It's not so much that it's just one specific position. It's the inconsistencies across the board at every position. So, when you talk about recruiting and things like that, we're open to everything, every position on the table.
Last thing for me, my publication is hyper-local when it comes to Cobb County and Cherokee County. I know that that is kind of one of the main basis for Kennesaw State recruiting. What, if any, connection do you have to Cobb County specifically and the coaches in this area? Because we play pretty good high school football.
You play great high school football, by the way. But no, every stop that I've been on, even at University of Tennessee, all the way back to my days at South Alabama, I've always recruited really the Atlanta metro area. So just not only the Atlanta area, but also the surrounding areas. Obviously, we got a great staff here at Kennesaw State right now. So those guys will be evaluated. They have some people on board or some lists that they've created, along with I've been continue to develop lists of some of my former contacts and things like that as places I've been on my journeys.
Hey, I'm Doug Robertson with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Doug.
I have several questions. Just going back to your last answer, do you know how many of the current staff members you hope to keep?
No, we are going to we start talking to some of those young men tomorrow, and we're going to continue those relationships and continue those talks over the next couple of days.
Do you know how much of a budget you have to recruit new coaches, however many that might be?
We're still working through that. Me and Milton are still working through some of that, but it's going to be a competitive salary, for Conference USA.
Okay. What kind of offense and what kind of defense do you hope to run?
Yeah, if you ever had a chance to watch, the University of Tennessee, not saying that we're going to beat Tennessee, but just saying that, we're going to be an up-tempo style. We've got to continue to recruit to that style of offense. So, the first years or so, the first year, we got to do what our personnel allows us to do. So, I got things that I would like to do, but it really is all depending on what the personnel allows us to do. Defensively, very similar. We're going to be extremely aggressive on defense, picking our spots, depending on what that personnel looks like.
So is it fair to say the schemes are just going to be based upon, you have hopes for what you're going to do, but it may be based upon personnel?
That's exactly right.
Okay. Going back to the facilities, the first question, you said you couldn't get into some specifics, but were you told there are definitely going to be some improvements, or it's just there are, to quote a politician, concepts of plans of improvement?
No, we have been told. I've seen exactly the vision on what it is. So, we can't say right now, but I think in the next 12 to 16 months, some things are going to be revealed.
Okay. Well, until that happens, why do you think you're going to have more success than the previous coach?
I think that anytime you look at an organization, you got to get in there. You kind of see exactly where some of the deficiencies were. Obviously, from a recruiting standpoint, we got to do a great job of building some depth. And a lot of that comes from obviously building an NIL infrastructure and make sure we do some things from a recruiting standpoint. They did a great job. Coach Bo did a great job of building the foundation at the program. For whatever the reason, the last few years, it has not been at the level that we all, as an Owl family, would like it to be. But I'm just confident in my ability, the staff that I'm gonna bring in, my background as far as being able to build programs, being a part of programs that would be able to be built as well. So I've been on, the person that has done it, and I've been a part of it from the ground floor. So it's really more about a confidence and a belief of what I bring to the table more than anything else.
Can you talk about your experience recruiting Cobb County and Metro Atlanta?
Yeah, just, everywhere I've always been, this is an area that I've always, built relationships, the camps, the clinics, Nike clinics, all kind of things in and out, this area, not only just Cobb County, you talk about the entire state of Georgia, it's great football across the entire state. And then also being able to get those guys that go off to other places, when you talk about the transfer portal, get those guys back home more than anything else. So not only just the relationships you build from the high school guys, sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them, but when they go off, sometimes they really want to come back home.
I was going to ask about that. How many there's a signing day coming up that is probably too much of a deadline, but how much of your next signing class is going to be, do you think, transfers in, and how much do you want to start to try to build a foundation with freshmen? Yeah,
no doubt. Like I wish I had a crystal ball to kind of tell you what that number kind of looked like, but that's just not the reality of it. We got to continue to go through the roster, continue to evaluate the people and the men in the building, and then after that, then we kind of assess, what those needs specifically are by position.
And last question for me, we can file an open records request for this, but how long is your contract?
No comment on that.
Okay.
Coach Kaimalet with the KSU Sentinel. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Coach, kind of excluding what you already said about, the people within the administration as well as the obvious, which is the high school football level in the state of Georgia, what are the biggest draws to Kennesaw State University?
Yeah, first of all, the alignment from the president to the athletic director. I think second of all are the students on campus. When you talk about the student body being close to 50,000 students, that's just an opportunity for growth. There's no limitations on how good we can be when you look at the number of students compared to the rest of the schools in the state, and then even the surrounding states. That's really impressive. And I think the third thing is an opportunity to grow. Like, it's a newcomer to Conference USA, so that means I get a chance to build this thing from the ground up and what our vision looks like.
Coach, you mentioned the students. There have been times where student turnout has been sort of a struggle at these games. How do you improve engagement?
Yeah, I think, I had a brief conversation with our Director of Student Affairs. And, that's up to, me and not only him and, some other partners on campus to just try to engage in making sure that the students are excited about continue to come to the games. That means me getting out in the community. That means me getting on campus, building relationships. All those things are important to make sure they understand this is our football team. It's not just the athletic department or Jerry Mack's program. It's the entire university, it's the entire community's football team, and we want to put a great product out there.
Coach, what do you feel is the biggest challenge you inherit with this program?
I think any program, one of the biggest challenges is making sure you continue to monitor and enhance the roster. With so much roster turnover in college football now, with guys being able to jump in the transfer portal, the men that are in the building, you got to do a great job of developing those guys. You got to do a great job of building those relationships. If you want to do something special, you got to build special relationships. So that's what's going to be really at the forefront of me and my staff.
Coach, last thing from me, you've talked a good bit about the offense. You've got a long track record as both an offensive coordinator and as a position coach. How hands-on can we expect you to be with that unit?
I'm going to be very hands-on with the unit. I'm not going to call the plays per se, but I'll be very instrumental in just making sure it looks like I need it to look like and want it to look like. I've called a lot of plays in my lifetime. I'm really more concerned about I'm doing a great job of managing the game and making sure I put our players in the best situation to be successful.
Coach, right here in the back, Luke Hetrick,
Hey, Luke.
WSB, congratulations.
Thank you.
Spent some time with Josh Heupel. What was the biggest thing as a guy from him who was a career assistant for many years and then became a head coach and had wild success? I know you've been a head coach before, but
Right.
For this last decade, what was the biggest thing that maybe he taught you during your time at Tennessee about getting that next head coaching opportunity?
Man, just very complimentary with Coach Heupel and giving me the opportunity to sit in that building and sit in those meetings and learn a lot. I think one of the biggest things, like I said, one thing is Coach is an offensive genius. He's been very successful as a coordinator and as a player also, and just being able to bounce ideas off him. I was a sponge in that building trying to learn everything that I could from him. I think the second thing is just how he dealt with people. I thought Coach Heupel did a great job of managing the staff. When we walked into that program at university, the football was under a lot of turmoil. So they really cleaned house, not only from administration but football as well. So everybody in that building that I walked into in 2021, we were pretty much all new to the University of Tennessee in the program, and you see what they've been able to do now. After in the fourth year go to the college football playoffs, and in our second year we were able to win the Orange Bowl. So there's some things about Josh Heupel and the way he went about his business, is dealing with people offensively, things like that I took from that program, and it's going to serve as a great blueprint for some of the things that we're going to do.
Anything else in the back? Any questions up here?
Yeah.
Doug, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, you have obviously a broad experience coaching at some HBCUs,
Mhm.
which compared to other FCS and lower level FBS have some resource disadvantages, similar to what KSU has just right now, which
Mhm.
things get built. What can you draw from that experience that's going to help you in these next 2 years turn KSU into what you hope it can be?
Yeah, I think the unique thing about my background is not only just the HBCUs. I've spent some time in Division II and some other FCS programs that doesn't always have the resources that you would like to. The challenge is always to try to blend it, right? Like to blend the things that I've learned from Power 4 programs to National Football League, working at those lower resource schools, to make sure we can blend it to make it, give our student athletes the best experience possible. That's what it's really all about. I bring an idea and some things that, I bring a different perspective to some guys that's only worked at certain schools, because I know how to do a lot with a little.
All right. That's it. We'll wrap it up with Coach Mack. Thank you so much.
Thank you.